Welcome to the Power of Your Voice podcast with your host, Johnny Gorky. You have the power to overcome challenges and fears. Let my voice and the voice of many others show you how to transform these challenges into opportunities. To learn more about future podcasts and read episode show notes, check out my website at www.thepowerofyourvoice.com.
This is episode 7, and today's guest is Jahuie McCrary, who is a 35-year-old professional working for a fast-growing digital marketing company in Charlotte, North Carolina. After several career changes, Jahuie has found a perfect career that allows him to help others help themselves. He is energetic, charismatic, and a gregarious soul that looks for the good in everyone. His motto in life: live life, have fun, be you. What makes Jahuie Jahuie?
Well, I'm glad you said my name correctly. That that partially makes me who I am. Very good question. What makes Jahuie Jahuie is the fact that I just march to the beat of my own drum. I have no problem standing alone in a crowd. I normally kind of think of it like this: either do I want to go and join someone else's band, or do I want to be a band of one? And if you hear the music and it sounds good and you want to come on over where I'm at, gladly welcome you. But I mean, I'm not a follower. But to say, when I say I'm a leader, I'm more of that leader that, I like to set an example. I like to be the example, but that doesn't mean that I necessarily have to be the one up in front. It's just a matter of, what I know at the end of the day, that I've empowered someone or changed someone's mind. That's what makes me who I am.
Yeah, well, the great thing about Jahuie is, like, when he walks in a room, he brings the party with him. Like, people want to.
I've been told that. I mean, I'll accept that. I'm being 6'6", you're gonna walk in the room and people will notice. But then if I gotta bring the entertainment, the laughter, the joy, the smiles, hell, I'll do it.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So what is your life motto, Jahuie?
My life motto, or I'll say motto, is to my life's motto is to live life, have fun, be you. That's been my life's motto for probably 15 years. I remember throwing a birthday party for myself, and that being on the invitation was to live life, have fun, and be yourself. I mean, they're kind of self-explanatory. I mean, some people would call them affirmations or what have you, but when you take them at their core, it's just about enjoying life, right? And while you enjoy life, be yourself. Authenticity is so important. And people forget that. They forget it because they want to impress, and they want to impress themselves on someone, as opposed to just be happy with you, and you will live life and have fun and be you at the same time. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. So you've been doing it for 15 years. How did you be that person?
Took a long time, kind of growing into yourself, understanding who you are. I mean, I was never a shy person, but, being 6'6" in the 7th grade, it was a little awkward and didn't have any friends. And then as I went into high school and really kind of learned who I am and learned what I like to do and how I like to live life, and the friends that I had, that it really kind of just came together as as a motto for myself, and just to go out into the world. I mean, I grew up in Augusta, Georgia. If anyone knows Augusta, Georgia, they know it's either the Masters, or I like to say the home of James Brown, which a lot of majority of people know. So living in Augusta, Georgia, small town, you can sometimes become the big fish in a small pond. So, I did like that because I was myself, but, moving to Charlotte really kind of changed my life, where I had to reset and realize that, I don't know anyone, and I got to go out, and I got to go back out in this world and, be myself, and hopefully people will want to join my band again,
Yeah, well, how did you do that? Because for a person that might be listening to maybe think about moving to a new city and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to know anybody. How did you overcome that? And now you got this great amount of friends you just were able to get now.
Yeah, and I'll clarify, having friends, it doesn't qualify anything about, oh, that means success or means that you're securing yourself. Moving to Charlotte, really overcoming was the idea that I could step out on my own, out from underneath a security blanket, which is friends, my mother, security. Then I get the opportunity to move to a new city like Charlotte, North Carolina. And for me, I thought it, was a big city. And you moved here and you don't know anyone. And then you realize that you really have to be secure in yourself to be able to go out there, embark on a new journey, and hopefully along the way, meet amazing people. It did take a little bit longer than I would like, but at the same time, I was older when I moved to Charlotte. I was 27 when I moved to Charlotte. I wasn't in my early 20s. I was in more in my late 20s, where dynamics had changed. I was in I had a very serious 9-to-5 job, and the mechanics of work life, and then realizing you get home and you still have things you have to do for the job, and then how does that fit in with trying to go out in the world and meet people and have that balance of work-life balance. So, I mean, it took a little bit to overcome, but it comes in time. I think if you go seeking things, some people say, yes, you should go out and seek things, which I do agree to some extent, but sometimes going and seeking, you're gonna find the wrong thing. You're gonna find fair weatherness. That's what I like to call it, where really it's just fleeting. People, all of that's fleeting. You really have to just, let it come to you, and it will slowly, and that happiness will come. That security once again will come, where you're securing yourself and you're able to really enjoy your life in a different place. And really you set the tone for who you are. That's why I can't just fall up under people. I can't just, say, oh, I'm just going to go follow this group. No, I'm going to do my thing. And if somebody wants to join in, come on. Promise you it's sweeter on the other side.
Be your own leader. Yes. So
yeah.
What have you learned in your past as a professional and in your personal life?
What I've learned in my past professional life is that there are going to be times where things are out of your control. I am someone that I can be very methodical in my thinking and really set things up so then I can go out and enjoy life, but everything is planned. So I had to kind of learn from a professional standpoint that even as planned as you think you are, there's going to be that day that you come into the office, like what happened with me when I was 25 in Augusta, Georgia. And I was told that they were shutting the business down in 2 hours and I was laid off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, and to be honest with you, that's happened 3 times in my life. And what have I learned from it? Exactly, the fact that you sometimes, as control as you want to have, it's just not going to happen. And you have to be prepared to navigate when that when that moment happens that you realize that it wasn't aligned like you thought it was. And are you ready and prepared? And are you driven? And are you secure in who you are? Live life, have fun, be you is my motto. Like I said, are you secure in yourself to say, okay, this is ended abruptly, no fault to my own business, just, decided to end that. Now, what am I going to go do? Now, what is my path? And I think that's the most beautiful part of life is when you can step out into something new and say, oh my God, I have got to go out and forge a new career.
Yeah.
So to say, that happened 3 times. It happened in Augusta. And then when I moved to Charlotte, it happened a year and a half into moving to Charlotte. But the beautiful thing about Charlotte and living in a bigger city, there's more opportunities.
Yes.
Which means, yes, there's a little bit of networking you have to do professionally. That kind of goes against me personally, where I feel like I'm just who I am and people will come along if they want. But sometimes in that professional setting, you got to make those connections so you're, slightly prepared, which sometimes you just can't be, but you want to think you can be prepared for when that moment happens. So, professionally, it was, I overcame it. I've overcome it 3 times. So I think I'm all right. And personally, I think just overcoming, I have suffered from mild depression, and in my 20s, I didn't really know how to handle it. I could feel when it came on, and I probably wasn't well versed in how to deal with suffering from mild depression. So as I've gotten older, I'm now more able to recognize when I feel that is coming back over me, and how I'm able to navigate it and really move forward and make sure that I'm living that positive life that I always, like to say that I'm currently doing. So,
wow. So what are some techniques that you've actually done that really, really help you, that someone might be listening and say, hey, sometimes I get a little.
yeah.
What are things that helped you?
So what I will say that you shouldn't do is try to lock down and figure out where's the depression coming from. I know that may go against doctors' recommendations or whatever, but I'm not a physician. But I'm going to say that's going to make it worse. If you're trying to sit there and figure out, well, why am I depressed? Why am I going through this moment? Because depression is real, as opposed to just saying, what can I do to move forward? What can I do to get out of this depression? So for me, what that means is those times that I exude positivity and exude happiness, and a lot of, being that person that people want to be around. That's why I said being a leader sometimes doesn't mean you have to be out front, because if I'm going through a bit of a depression bout, what beautiful way than the energy that I exchanged when I was, encouraging people, that now they may not realize that they're actually encouraging me, and they're lifting me up and helping me go through this little bit of spat of depression. So, that's how I tend to overcome it. It's through, maybe it is leaning a little bit on others, but they may not even realize I'm leaning on them. Maybe it's just, I'm listening to a great story they're telling, and I'm not trying to interject. I just want to be in the moment with them and hear something positive, something beautiful, and that helps me move forward. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people they don't realize, there's different types of leaders. Like, like when you're in school or you're at work, like, we need a leader. So initially you might get the first person that stands up there, but the beautiful thing is there's the supportive leader. So there's someone who assists the different leaders. Everyone is a leader, just a leader in a different way. And that's the beautiful thing about leadership.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what is the demise of some so-called leaders, is that because they want to be out front. I mean, I always say, I truly believe this. when you get to the top, there's no other way than to go back down. And especially when you're at the top, there's always someone right there that's trying to take you out. So, if you like we said, there's different kinds of leaders, and you gotta know how to navigate that without, being the one that is the example of a great leader, and then being the example of what to do to, when you're, what not to do as a leader. I would hate to, that to be the face of that,
Yeah, well, I mean, the truth is everyone is a leader. Unfortunately, yes, there's a few people who are a little bit arrogant, but the thing is everyone can be a leader. Everybody needs support. So what's something in your life that you've, a fear or some big challenge that you had in your life, and you're like, maybe at the moment you didn't know what to do, but you were able to overcome that fear or that challenge?
Oh, I mean, I think just when you create a life for yourself, the fear of the fear of losing everything that you've created. It doesn't have to mean that like tangible items and all of that, but just the idea that a life you created, you can just lose it. It frightens me to hell. I mean, think about a divorce. That's you create this life, and then boom, it's over in a divorce. That type of fear it freaks me out. The idea that you can really create something and then it just fall to pieces. So I always like to say, yeah, it's great to live in the moment, but if you think more methodical about your life and really think, put goals and steps and then really work towards those goals and learn from mistakes, you're prepared for when something may start turning left, that you can immediately renegotiate it, re-navigate it, and get that back on the right track, if that makes sense. So, the fear of losing and things that you have really created for yourself is a great fear of mine.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, but the thing is, like, as with anything, a lot of people fear failure, but the truth is if you fail and you fail so many times, it's just like when you were acting. It's like you fail 1,000 times.
Yeah.
At first, it might be like, oh my gosh,
right.
I failed. But you're like, if you fail 1,000 times, you get really, really good at whatever you're doing because you overcome that fear.
Oh yeah, you learn from the mistake. I mean, when I used to go and audition a lot, I haven't done theater in years, but when you go and audition, you don't get the part, and you realize, you think that you're like, I would have been perfect for that part, but at the audition, maybe you didn't read the words correctly, you didn't convey the right message, or it totally makes sense. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, well, like as you were saying earlier, you worked for 3 companies. You go to work, you show up, and here I am, and I'm sorry, but we're closing the company. And for a lot of people, that's very scary. And
one was closing the company. The other 2, they were shutting down the department. But what I'll say, what's scary about that is one of them, I knew it was coming. I could see the writing on the wall. And in my naivete, didn't prepare for that. I didn't prepare for something I saw. I kept, turning the other page. I was like, oh, okay, let me stop thinking that. But I knew it. I knew it was coming. So when that moment happened, I was almost cold about it. I was very cold. I remember being cold. I was cold to the people because there was no words I really wanted to say, because I was more frustrated with myself. So I just remember going, okay, thank you, and leaving very cold.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. At the time, it might really stink, but many times that stuff it's actually a beautiful thing. At the moment, you're like, why did this happen? But it's actually a beautiful thing because it opens up so many amazing doors. You're like, wow, I'm so glad. I'm one of those people, I believe everything happens for a reason. And it probably opened a lot of beautiful doors for you. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad the company, it stinks that it shut it down, but I'm actually glad for myself personally, because now it aligned me for this new company where otherwise maybe I would have felt safe where I was working. And now I'm working here, and now I'm making a bigger
Right.
impact in other people's lives and all that kind of stuff.
Right. But what else? But what I will say professionally is I don't, we're doing an interview, and I'm a truth teller, and I don't want to give anyone a false hope. It is tough. It is hard work. When you are in a situation where your job is ended, the department is ended, and you're now realizing you got to go out there, and it is a beautiful thing to go out into the world and really now be like, okay, what's next? What do I want to do? I will say you got to be slightly prepared, because now it's a test of who you are, and it's a test of what you want to do. And if you cower, if you go on the why me, why me, why did this happen to me, why you're going to self implode, as opposed to taking that what just happened and turning it into the most combustible fuel. It's exciting. Everything inside of you, creativity, from from updating that resume to really going out there and looking for that role that you want. I mean, when I say, like, I don't want to give anyone false hope, just because, sometimes you've got to go out there and do it your damn self. You can't expect that other people are going to help you, that it's just things are going to align perfectly, because then you're living in a fool's paradise, and I want nothing of that. So
So how exactly were you able to bounce back? Like, wow, I'm on fire. I'm going to go do this. You know what? My world's not going to end right now. I'm going to find this career that I've actually always wanted, but I wasn't doing, because I was kind of comfortable where I was.
Well, I mean, I was just patient. I very seriously, when the last time I was laid off, I very much was at a place financially that I could take it easy for a couple months, where I could really just not try to throw out resumes everywhere, but really examine companies and look at the job postings, and really look and see what I wanted to do, what experience have I gained over the course of the past 20 years that I've worked. What role do I want to do that I feel that defines who I am, that is something I want to wake up and be able to help people. And that's really where I know my strength is in relationship management. I know my strength is in being an effective communicator and really bridging gaps and problem solving and seeing helping other people succeed and making money. So I know I've been in sales majority of my career. So that's why it's really great to see that I'm more in that sales and relationship management role, where I'm more helping manage that relationship, and so making sure that relationship is secure. And then with that, helping people, provide for their families and have extra money in their pockets. So that's, I really, really looked hard for that specific kind of role. And when I found that role, I went after it. I was a hunter. I made sure my resume was sound. I made sure my interview I was prepped for an interview. I made sure that I was genuine, but I also had prepackaged prepackaged stories that I've experienced, so that I didn't forget. You know what I mean? So what I'll say is, it's even in being authentic, there's always stories you got to pull from, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget something. So I was ready when that opportunity presented itself, and I went for it and I got it. So
wow, that's powerful. Well, and the big thing is, when you do sales, if you just think about me, it's about what value you're adding to whatever you're doing. And when people know that you care about them, that's when they start knowing that they're going to start caring about yourself.
Right. And there's a difference in direct sales, and there's a direct difference from direct selling to being the person encouraging others to sell, which is the life I lead. That's where I'm more at. But I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing people happy. I enjoy getting a text or a phone call from someone saying, "Hey, you helped me pay my bill you helped me pay my cell phone bill, or I got to pay my credit card payment today because I was really worried about not being able to make that payment." That's the stuff of life. We all know how to pay a bill.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff's important to people. It really, really
Right.
is.
I that's why I say fool's paradise. I know what it means to pay a bill, and I would never not sit here and act like, oh yeah, everything is taken care of, and I have a nest egg. Oh my God, who am I kidding myself? We all know I know how to pay a bill. I mean, I remember my 20s, what you had to do if you didn't have the money for electricity, you got to call them, and they'll extend it till. Trust me, I know how to pay a bill. So now that I don't really have to worry like that anymore, I never forgot it, and it's a part of like, oh, I still know how to get through life if I need to.
Yeah.
Book smarts and street smarts play well hand in hand together.
Wow. So for somebody that might be listening to this podcast episode, what's a few things that you love for people to take away? Like making people happy and, being a leader, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So for your illustrious audience, because I know you probably have a big audience of listeners. Well, what I say out there for Jahuie, what I want to say to all of you is that if I my lasting testimonial is to live life, have fun, and be yourself. In order to do that, just know that you're going to have to be secure in who you are. You're going to have to start loving yourself a little bit more. And you're going to have to start thinking about what can I do? Not what is someone going to do for me? No, what am I going to do? And when you start thinking that way, then your mind opens up and ideas just start coming, and you just really start thinking about how I can go out and tackle this thing called the world. Because, for some people, the parents, you can't just rely on your parents to, make sure that you have a job and go work for your parents at their company. That's crazy talk. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody went to college and got a 4-year degree and went out in the world and did something with themselves. No, some people took the road less traveled, and that's fine. And they gotten to where they're at with experience, guts, and a little bit of charisma, like myself. So, my lasting words is just make sure you're securing yourself, and make sure to know that you love yourself and you are comfortable in who you are. And I would never tell anyone to change. What I'll say is, if there's things about yourself that others may, really not like, it's up to you to really evaluate how you want to navigate that. I can't tell you to change, but things will hold you back. So think about that.
Yeah, that's good. Are there any techniques like, you go in the mirror, you start dancing, you blow yourself kisses, that kind of thing?
No. I mean, if people want to do that, go right ahead. It's more about, I like positive affirmations. I think, cheesy as it is, quotes are a great thing. Look up quotes. If a positive quotes, you just can Google that and find that. But also, if you have family and friends in your life that are dear to your heart, throw out a hello via text and just watch what comes back. And you'll be surprised how that can really make your day and change your life and change who you are. Because you really don't know what's going on in other people's lives. And the fact that you threw out a hello is probably what made them really need to, it's something they needed to see and hear. And, that kind of positivity will come back. You put that positivity out there and it will come back tenfold. That's what I like to believe. And that's what I like to think. And a lot of my friends know I am big on throwing out texts. I will throw out a text of hello at, 8 in the morning or something, just because thinking about you.
Yeah. Which is
kill this day. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like sometimes, people might be thinking about somebody, but they're like, it doesn't hurt to just send someone a text, maybe an email, a message on, online or something like that. Well, one of the things I just want to say too is like, my gosh, I've known you for almost 20 years?
I know.
Yes.
I know.
20 years. That's a very, very long time. And one thing I love about you, every single time I talk to you or see you, you are so happy. Like happy Jahuie, like always laughing and always in this amazing
right.
How do you stay like that, man? Because my gosh, if you could bottle that up in a jar and sell bottles of Jahuie, I mean, you can make a lot of money off that stuff.
I mean, I could, right? I could make a lot of money. I need to think about that. That's a new. All right, I may try that. It's honestly, I think what people are not realizing, it's not that I'm always happy. It's just that when you see someone that you haven't seen in just a little bit, or I'm gonna take that back. Hell, maybe you saw them just yesterday. When you see someone, you can forget this negative stuff. You forget the crazy email you got. You can forget the text message that you're like, oh, I got to address that. You can forget all that, and you can just, it's almost like I'm going back to high school when I had friends, and we were in different classes, and we come out of the class and I see my friend and we're all excited. We're like, hey, that's where my head is at, that I'm just so excited to see someone, because maybe I have a story I want to tell. Hell, maybe I don't have a story I want to tell. Maybe they have something they want to tell me, but I want to be positive, because what if they're kind of in a bad place? Or what if I'm in a bad place? What if I'm, maybe I'm going through a little bit of a depression bout? What great way to just, feel someone's good energy. And that is something I try to do, and put it out there and make sure that anytime I see my friends, they know that it's love, and I'm so happy to see them, and I want to hear what's going on in their life. And that's the stuff that makes me who I am. Wow. So I love the fact that you say that every time you see me, I'm upbeat and I'm positive, because that's always what I hear,
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much for this interview, man. I love you, Jahuie. You are an amazing guy.
I love you too, my friend. Can I just say, I'm so excited to see that you are doing something social media that's positive, that you're putting good stuff out into the ether, that people can really take from this and listen to influencers, listen to people that, even people that, maybe are not a big name, just someone out in the world that really has a good story to share. I'm glad that you're kind of a vessel for people to hear things and hear good things, and to hear people doing good things. So I'm so proud of you, Johnny. I'm so proud of you, and I will do whatever I can at a local level, even here in Charlotte, to make sure that the power of the voice, that people know about it, and that they can really listen and get some good, positive things out of what people are sharing and what you're even sharing.
Wow, thank you. That is beautiful. Wow, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Johnny here. Thank you for listening to the Power of Your Voice podcast. I'd love to get your feedback on this episode and how it impacted you. If someone in your life could benefit from this episode, share it with them. Check out thepowerofyourvoice.com to read show notes, leave a comment on the blog page, and to stay updated on all future episodes, subscribe to this podcast and leave a 5-star review. Thank you for your love and support.